Welcome to Minutes with the Mayor, brought to you by Mercantile Bank. My guest is Natasha Will, the interim director of the Quincy Public Library, and we're talking to you because it's budget time again.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Last year, when the library asked for its budget, they asked for a little bit more money and had a tough time explaining why they needed more money. Can you explain to me why you need more money now?
Well, I don't like it saying that it's like extra money because in the 90s, way before my time, I was like 10 in the 90s, 10 to,
Yeah, don't rub it in.
I was young, but there was this decision to create this subsidy to keep property taxes low.
Right.
And so when you say extra money, it's like saying, like, we're asking for more money than what we would normally levy.
Right.
So it's not extra money. It's we have operational costs like everyone else. We are a nonprofit. We don't make money at the library, and we offer the services for free regardless if you live in Quincy or not.
I buy books at the used store for $1. Doesn't that add up?
Yeah, not what you think. Yeah, and they do support us. So when people say, why aren't you fundraising? We are. We have Mary Weems Barton Foundation, and we have the Friends, and we go to the Friends and we ask them for money, but a lot of the times with those organizations, they want to know what it's for, and then they also don't support things like salaries. And we all know that in your budget, salaries takes the biggest portion of it.
Sure. Your staffing levels, is that something where you're looking to increase or maintain in staff in this upcoming budget?
So in this upcoming budget, it's going to look like from our projected expenses, like our projected ending balance, looks like we're having a huge influx, but that's because we had many positions that needed to be backfilled throughout the year. So really it's just getting us to that minimum staffing level that we need. So we're once the executive director position is filled, it will be 36. When I started at the library 20 years ago, we had staff in the 50s. So it is under what we have had in the past, but that 36 is what we need to be able to operate the way that we are now.
Is that full and part-time?
Correct. Yes.
So do you have, when you talk from going from 50 to 36, what's your ratio of full to part-time compared from then and now? About the same? Sorry, I
probably.
Can do math.
I know. Well, I can't. I'd have to really go back and look, and that was 20 years ago.
Sure.
And I started as part-time.
Yeah.
So.
And you were only 10. So yeah.
Well, yes, 20 years ago I was
there
10.
You go.
Yeah. Right now I know we have, 24 full-time and 7 part-time.
Okay.
And then 24, I think that's right. Am I forgetting one? And then we have 5 full-time that are not union. So sorry, that's how I had just broke it up. So we do have a union at the library. So.
Congratulations for not busting a 6-7 on me on the we were talking about that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, and again, people are always kind of harping on, well, I don't need a library no more. I got me an iPad. Well, that's really not the case because the library does have many more uses.
It does. We have meeting rooms that you can use. Our meeting rooms get used a lot by other organizations. Then we have programs. So some people, that is how they connect with their community. I don't know if you remember last year when a lot of people came and talked about the library.
Oh, I remember.
A lot of the things that I noticed is people are saying, I moved to Quincy and this is where I found my sense of community. And it really is. Sometimes that's the only contact that they have is by coming to these programs. Also, our children's programs, the story time, that is early literacy right there. We're laying those foundations for literacy. I've had many parents when I did programming say, my kid became ready for story time or for school because of your story times.
Yeah, I went to the library a lot more when our kids were, in their, single digits around 10 or whatever than I do now. And it was great because I would go and I'd find books and stuff too. But, it was great to get them there for an hour and again, get them out, especially, when the weather's bad or whatever. But any time that we had free time and needed to just kill some time, or my wife said, my God, take these kids out of my house, I would do that. I'd load them up and we'd go to the library for an hour and try to burn stuff off. And then you give them a couple of bucks to go to the used bookstore stuff. Now, the funny thing is now that my kids are all older in their 20s and 30s, they still come home and the 3 of them will get together and go to the used bookstore on their own, which is, I think, is really cool.
Yes, yeah. We've had people that have moved away for whatever reason and they come back and visit because they want to connect with staff or they just really enjoy our library. We've had many people from out of town come in and say, your guys' library is amazing. And some people will be like, I want to take this back to my library. So they do like whatever program that you're doing here at my library. So it's nice hearing other people in the community, like other people outside the community enjoy our library. We want more people in our community to come and enjoy our library.
Are you anticipating, as part of this budget presentation, getting the questions from the aldermen and the further discussion of you guys becoming your own entity?
I'm sure that might be a question that arises. So it's not a secret. The board has been talking about this. I think the first time in October we had someone from the Pittsfield Public Library District come in and discuss. So there is that thought of going district. I had a phone call with a lawyer to find out what that would look like and everything. And so I've reported that to the board. They did vote to hold off of that vote and discuss it more later.
Okay. And again, that's something that I think is going to, that's good discussion is going to continue to percolate. And I think that as you come up with this presentation, again, I think as long as you can, justify where, if you need more money, you would have to justify that. And if you can't justify it, well, that's when it gets tough. But when you talk about your current staffing levels, backfilling the existing positions, does that put you in a sufficient position for the foreseeable future? Or you need more people on top of that, I guess what I'm trying to say.
I feel like the more need there is for our services, there's only so much that we can do with the staff that we have. So ideally, it would be nice to be able to hire another outreach person to help with those programs. I mean, everyone wants the mobile library to come to their events in the summer, but unfortunately, we just have 2 staff members.
Right.
So it would be nice to be able to hire someone else to be able to another person to do that and help them with check-ins.
Did you add more staff when you got the mobile library, the bookmobile, or did you just use from existing staff to say go drive the bus?
It was so they took positions that we had and they reallocated, or I would say renamed them. So now we have a mobile librarian, but before we had 3 full-time outreach people. So now we have 1 senior delivery specialist. We have a school delivery specialist that helps the senior, where before we had 3 outreach specialists. So that department level is around the same that it was before. We just now have a mobile librarian instead of an outreach. So when, say, our senior delivery specialist is out, but we still have to go deliver books to those homebound people, the mobile librarian steps in to do that. And then in order to make sure that, sometimes staff leave, we got lucky. We got a grant from John Wood, and they helped get multiple staff members licensed. So say, for whatever reason, our mobile librarian leaves, there's still another person that can drive that mobile library, so we don't have to wait for us to backfill that position to offer that service, because you have to have a Class C license for that.
Right. You talked about getting grants. Are you the primary grant writer then, or who does that?
I write them, and then we have other people on staff that will help. Like I just handed one to our outreach our mobile librarian, and I was like, hey, will you write this again for books for summer reading?
Okay.
So Kiwanis gave us $1,000 last year, so we could reward kids that read to get a free book, because everyone's excited about a free book.
Since you're doing your budget right now, what is the ballpark percentage of your revenue that comes from grants?
Well, as I looked at the budget that I put out now, I will tell you, with just the salary, not the benefits, just the salary for our staff, that only what we're asking for a subsidy for the city, because I am still going to be asking for a subsidy, and what our levy is, that only gives us $6,000 more. So the rest of our budget is filled in with other revenue, and some of it is grant. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah. So, well, I'll let you go back and studying for your budget test and grant presentation.
Yes.
And again, just thanks for the time, and again, good luck as you make your pitch to City Council.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's all the time we have for now. I'm Bob Gough. Once again, thank you for watching Minutes with the Mayor, brought to you by Mercantile Bank.